Welcome to Stories Between Us, a podcast of short, fictional stories about the lives, tension, and intimacy between queer men. These episodes are for mature audiences and may include explicit themes. Told through AI voice narration, each episode drops you into a moment, a glance, a decision, a connection that lingers. Stories that feel real, sometimes sexy, sometimes messy, and always rooted in what's felt, even when it's never said. There's something about the last cut of the day. When the shop is quiet, the cape goes on slowly, and your barber's hand lingers just a second too long. This is story number 1. The fresh fade. He always booked the last slot right before closing. The quiet hour. The man in the chair was tall, maybe 6'2", built like he played ball in college but worked a 9 to 5 now. Bronze skin, faint scar above his eyebrow, gold bracelet always peeking from under his hoodie sleeve. Kept his beard tight, his voice low. The kind of man who didn't say much but watched everything. He liked the shop because it didn't feel like a scene. One chair, no music after 7, just clippers humming and that soft scent of talc, oil, and someone's cologne that stayed in the air like a memory. The barber was lean, dark-skinned, early 30s. Had this calm about him, moved like he didn't rush for anybody. Rings on every other finger, sleeves rolled to the elbow. He cut with precision, never spoke unless he needed to, and always smelled like something warm and woody, like a slow-burning fire. Tonight, the cut moved slower, not lazy, just intentional, fingers grazing the man's jaw a second longer than necessary. That firm nudge under the chin to line him up, but with a grip that lingered. He leaned in close, breath steady, eyes focused on the mirror. But it wasn't just the lineup he was studying. Every time they locked eyes, something held. Not a stare. Just long enough to be felt in the chest. The room felt smaller, like the walls leaned in too. The fade was already sharp, but the man didn't move when it ended. Neither did the barber. He spun the chair slowly and didn't step back. Just stayed close, the kind of close where breath and intention start to mix. "You good?" the barber asked. The man nodded, throat dry. He paid in cash like always, but this time, when he booked the next cut, he didn't just pick a time. He looked the man in the eye and said, "Same time next week." The barber didn't blink. He said, "I'll be here." He came early, sat down quietly, and noticed the man across the room already watching. This is story number 2, the waiting chair. He came early, not on purpose, just one of those days he didn't feel like going home. Wore his tighter jeans without thinking, the ones that hugged his thighs when he sat down. Jacket half off his shoulders, tank top underneath. Fresh out the shower, lotioned up. He looked good, and he knew it. The barbershop was half full, clippers buzzing somewhere in the back. He took a seat by the window, phone in hand, thumb scrolling, mind somewhere else. That's when he saw him across the room, leaned back in the chair like he owned it. Dark skin, dreads pulled into a loose tie. You could tell he didn't have underwear on. He was packing something heavy. He kept staring and didn't mind being caught looking. The first time their eyes met, it felt casual. The second time, it felt like an invitation. By the third time, the tension was real, low in the gut, thick behind the ribs. The man licked his lips once, slow, then looked away like he hadn't done a thing. The man leaned back, phone rested in his lap, screen lit but untouched. He kept glancing up, eyes slow, steady. Their stares kept locking, not playful, not curious, just bold. Just enough to make the air feel thick between them. Then the man stood, adjusted his sweats, stretched once, then looked straight at him. Didn't speak, just nodded toward the door and started walking. He didn't hesitate. Followed him out of the shop without a word. The parking lot was quiet. Late afternoon heat was still hanging in the air. The man walked straight to his car, unlocked it, and got in the driver's side. He climbed in the passenger seat and closed the door. They exchanged a few words, but quickly got to the task. The man reached over and grabbed him, firm and focused. Just watched his face while his hand moved. Slow, tight strokes. He returned the pressure, both of them breathing harder now, sweat already starting to build. No moaning, just breath and motion. Skin on skin. It was fast and unapologetic. When they finished, they cleaned up with a napkin from the console. Back inside, the shop looked the same. Clippers buzzing. Music low. Same people waiting. But everything felt different. He sat back down. The other man didn't even look at him. Just picked up his phone like nothing had happened. But they both knew what they were holding now. Right there between their legs, tucked back into their clothes, still warm. The cape was still on. His lips were bitten raw. And when their foreheads touched, there was no turning back. This is story number 3. Line up and lip bite. The man in the chair had soft brown skin, a honey gold undertone that caught the light. He kept his waves tight, skin smooth, lips full and slightly chapped like he licked them too much. Everything about him was neat. Shirt fitted, jeans cuffed just right, chain tucked under his collar. But the way he looked at the barber made it clear he didn't always follow rules. The barber didn't speak much. He never did. But when he cut this man's hair, he bit his lip. Every time. Slow and deep, like it helped him focus. But it was clear what was really happening. Tonight was different. The shop was quiet. Too quiet. No one waiting. No one scheduled after him. Razor in hand, the barber leaned in close, his fingers steady on the man's temple. That lip between his teeth. That breath. Hitting skin. Each stroke of the blade felt slower than the last, tracing the curve of his hairline like it was something sacred. Every graze of fingertips against his forehead sent heat pulsing low in his stomach. When it was done, the barber didn't grab the neck duster. He wiped the loose hair from his forehead with his hand, palm flat, thumb dragging just above the brow. Then that same hand slid down to his cheek. The cut was done, but the barber didn't step back right away. He stayed close, hand still on the man's face, thumb tracing just below his cheekbone like he was drawing something only he could see. They were always like this by the end. Quiet, lingering, looking at each other like they were both picturing something else. The barber smirked a little, said how they always end up staring like they're imagining each other naked, called it out like a joke, but didn't move his hand. He said if he were gay, maybe he'd try something. But since he wasn't, that would never happen. The man stayed still, said, "Would you ever let another man kiss you?" The barber laughed under his breath, said, "Fuck no." Then the man said, "What about a hand job? Would you ever let another man jerk you off?" The barber didn't answer right away, just looked at him, said maybe. That's all it took. The man reached out and touched him through the front of his pants. Just a slow rub, hand open, thumb moving in circles. The barber didn't stop him, didn't flinch, just looked down at him once, jaw tight, breath deeper now. Then he said, "Go lock the door." When the click echoed through the shop, the barber grabbed him by the wrist and led him straight to the back of the barbershop to the darkness. Thank you for listening to Stories Between Us, a podcast about queer male connection, tension, and everything that gets felt, but not always said.